Something is going on here. Okay, sorry about that. That was something strange going on my stream. Not sure about that one. But greetings, everyone. We're live on Rockfin, Callin, and on YouTube. Good to see everyone on the Rockfin channel. Got a bunch of people in already, so cool. Judy Truitt says, I'm roasting 5 chilies and making potato salad, so we'll be in and out. Ooh, can I get some of that potato salad is the question. You're making me hungry. Got some people watching on YouTube. That's good. That's always good. It's like old times on YouTube where people don't get notified. And people just kind of wander in like, oh, hey, you doing a show today? Great. I don't know. How's it going? TCR Galaxy is with us on YouTube. Same with Human Love Solidarity. Name I haven't seen in a while. But anyways, let's jump into some things, or things, as some people like to say. Some things. Be talking about some things. We're just going for random thoughts to begin the show. Has anybody seen one of these? The same trash can has 2 different holes, one for recycle and one for landfill. And this is great. The 2-party system for dummies. So yeah, this is... You think you're doing something, but it's all the same. However, you know, I'm not against getting behind somebody who is really actually doing something. I don't know where those people are at. Because to actually do something, you're going to have to go up against the powers that be, and you're going to have to, you know, it's probably going to be, the consequences are going to be real harsh, so you're going to have to be strong of character. And I don't see anybody like that yet. Not in my viewfinder. Interesting news out of Hong Kong, and a lot of people have been talking about this. People who are under COVID quarantine will have to wear electronic bracelets in order to prevent them from leaving home. Because we're on YouTube, I'm not going to say too much about this, other than the fact that an electronic bracelet that prevents you from leaving home kind of sounds like you're under house arrest, or kind of sounds like jail a little bit. That's just me. But pretty frightening that, you know, some of these policies are being rolled out, some of them more. And I don't really get, it is 2022, and I think we've had enough time to be in COVID land to understand the parameters of it. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. I might revisit this when we jump off of YouTube. I really don't want to say much more. But, you know, sounds a bit scary though. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Huh? To me, I don't know about you. Biden wins, tweets this. Biden wins. We're going to find out who's running Biden wins a little bit later. Biden wins 18 straight months of job creation. That's a Biden win. All right. All right, feel good. I'm just, you know, I see the feel good tweets about the Biden administration out there on the Twitter, and it's like, okay. A, I'm having a hard time believing you're actually a real account. B, if you're a real account, how much is the payroll going, how much of the payroll is going to your account. We know that Brooklyn Dad, blobbity blue, blobbity blue. Brooklyn Dad blue is on the payroll of the DNC, so he's not a real person. He should actually state in his bio, not my own opinions. I am fully owned and subsidized by the Democratic National, or some arm of that. But people think that is a real person actually tweeting out stuff. All right. Anyways, Perpetual Shadow Band, who is not on the payroll of the DNC, says, when you add 372,000 payrolls, but the unemployment rate remains the same, that's not job creation. It means someone who already had a job had to get another job because they couldn't afford to live. Good deducing there by Perpetual Shadow Band. Yeah, and then, nobody should be applauding the Biden administration for bringing back jobs that all left because of a global pandemic that basically kicked everybody, right? We had like massive unemployment, the worst unemployment since the Depression during the pandemic. And so the jobs are going to come back. That's not a result of the Biden administration doing good things. It's a result of we're not in a pandemic anymore. So things are kind of going, business as usual is creeping back in. And so, I don't know what to tell you. It's not a win. It's just, it's just this should happen if everything is actually going back to normal on some level. But, good point by Perpetual Shadow Band. Where are we moving on to here? I don't know. I'm not thought I was, I told myself I was going to be real sparing with YouTube commentary, and maybe I'm not sparing enough right now. Sorry, YouTubers, it's nothing about you necessarily. It's about, obviously, about the platform. From Wall Street Silver, just an FYI, coal, gas, and oil are going to be required for a long time still. And that's super realistic, super reality. Anyone talking about going to 100% renewable energy by 2035 or 2040 or 2050 is illiterate about what is possible economically and with just basic physics. Man, you can't get more over the target than this tweet. The thing about basic physics that's not left out of this commentary is the fact that a planet of 8 billion people is kept alive by fossil fuels. By fossil fuels. Fossil fuels enables 8 billion people to have access to food and things that keep them alive. Oh, sorry, that's not good. That's a faux pas to have my timer go off during the stream. Sorry. Right. And it's one of the things that I find it frustrating about climate activists or scientists saying, if we just get rid of the fossil fuel industry, you're not getting rid of the fossil fuel industry anytime soon. If you want to keep 8 billion people alive. And if you do get rid of the fossil fuel industry, it's going to be hard times. Hard times. That's just physics. That's just physics. I don't know. So you got to, if you're going to message, I'm all for getting rid of the fossil fuel industry. I'm totally into it, man. I'm all for it. But you have to message, you have to actually let people know what that means. Well, if we get rid of the fossil fuel industry, that means that we have to kind of bring down industrial civilization to a dull roar from the mighty roar that it is already happening. And then you have to let people know what that means to to their standard of living, their economics, what's going to be possible or feasible, how long that walk down the economic ladder is going to take, without letting a lot of people meet their end, meet an untimely end. You're going to have a conversation about that. And so it's just real kind of basic and simple to be, just get rid of the fossil fuel industry and that's it. Methinks you don't understand physics, Dr. Physics. Anyways. But there's people out there who claim to be engineers and people that understand physics that don't understand physics, so that's true too. That's totally true. Moving on. From Jim Baird. India. When asked what will happen if temperatures keep rising in the future, several farmers had similar answers. Then all will be destroyed. Nothing will remain. If the temperature rises, everything will end for us. Only losses. Let's look at this. Well, and then that's just kind of, that's also some super basic physics right there. Well, if we're experiencing global warming and the temperature is not going to stay the same and not going to go down, I'm letting you know that's just what's happening, right? We're in, what's called abrupt global warming. And so the temperature is not going to stay the same, and it's not going to go down. It is going to go up. I don't, quickly or slowly, I don't know. You can judge for that. But if you've looked at the last 5 years, you know the temperature is going up, right? It's super obvious. Super duper obvious. So if the temperature is going up, I don't know, just use your brain, extrapolate. They're just going to show me. I actually didn't really want to just see. Let's see.
Well, that's my lovely, beautiful plate of lunch today. And you would have noticed the beautiful yellow, bright mangoes. I mean, who doesn't love mangoes in the scorching summer heat? Apart from the mangoes, the other thing on my plate that you see is the roti. And well, sadly, the farmer who grows the mango and the wheat that it takes to make that roti is in trouble. And we're here to find out why. मार्च में जो एकदम तेज धूप पड़ी थी गर्मी, इससे क्या फर्क पड़ा?
उससे जी वो फर्क पड़ा है जी, धक्का खा जाया, हम सारा माल गल गया, कीड़े लग गए, फसल सब झड़ गई, हमारे मोल जो है पेड़ पे वो सब झड़ गए।
इस मौसम में इस आमिया का साइज कितना होता है?
इस आमी का साइज कम से कम इतना बड़ा होता है। इसका वजन कम से कम 400 ग्राम हो जाएगा, लेकिन अब की बार इसका जो वजन है वो सिर्फ 50 ग्राम का, 70% का हमें मिठास का घाटा है।
Okay, so I'm just gonna, for the people on call-in, so the mango size is greatly reduced because of the heat, and they're also not as sweet. He said the blossoms fell off the trees, and also, disturbing the mangrove crop. I can tell you that's happening all over the planet. It's not just India. It's not just mangoes. It's happening in my backyard. It's happening in my backyard. It's happening, all over the place. That people, crops are being destroyed, disturbed, having a difficult time because of the heat. So I'll just play a little more of this.
टोटल जो 30 बीघा का बाग है, इसमें 80-60 मन है।
और वैसे अच्छे मौसम में कितना होना चाहिए था?
250 मन, 300 मन। कम से कम एक करीब ₹400 का नुकसान है। ये वाले
Okay.
साल में हमें ₹2 लाख का नुकसान है।
I'm not going to play any more of this because the sound of the cicadas or whatever are just like the background noise is probably not very pleasant. And how the video sounds really tinny and kind of loud. But they're just saying the farmers are experiencing serious losses. And that's a result of what? Of it being hotter. And the fact that the weather patterns are not the same, the fact that the weather is not as stable as it used to be, the climate is not as stable, the climate is all over the place. That's actually really happening, right? I think people can understand. If you're in any way in touch with nature, if you're not just living your life in an air-conditioned bubble, if you're trying to grow plants, if you're out in nature and looking at what's going on in nature, if you're paying attention to what's happening with the weather and the climate and the, you totally understand, oh, something is way off. And that's true. Anyways. That is happening. Let's look at this out of Texas. And I found this to be an interesting story. So I just wanted to talk about this for a little bit. This is a little Twitter story thread, whatever they're called. Why Texans are facing skyrocketing home energy bills. Cost of electricity in Texas is tightly tied to the price of natural gas, which has more than doubled since Russia invaded Ukraine. Of course, Putin's price hike. Texas residents are facing skyrocketing home energy bills this spring and summer, and many customers are paying at least 50% more than they did this time last year. So this is what the reason why I found this interesting is because real inflation is not 8%. Real inflation is not 8%. I keep saying it over and over. It's like 50%. And I think people understand this. So it's probably why people are upset when they see news stories that say like inflation is 8% or 9% or, and there's all the Twitter bots are like, applaud Biden for gas prices going down a couple of pennies. Do it now. Yeah, but it's still insane, right? It's still insane. The cost of everything else is still insane. And it's not necessarily all the fault of the Ukraine war, although it can be. But if you want to blame the Ukraine war, again, I'm saying too much right now. You can blame it on the battle Russians, or you can maybe blame it on U.S. policy. I don't know. Take a pick. I'm going to have to get the heck off of YouTube real quick. But also, remember that Texas is a place where everybody lives inside their air-conditioned boxes and bubbles, and nobody opens their windows anymore. And I really mean nobody. Like, I'm sure some people do, but I've spent a lot of time in Texas, and people just, have the perma-shut windows. So it's either too hot or too cold inside the house because, I got the perma-shut windows, and that's how everybody lives in Texas. So, high energy consumption state, super high energy consumption state. And include all other homes in the South, Florida, Alabama, etc., Texas. People just have the perma-shut windows, and they got the AC on all the time. And, enjoy that while you can. Good people of the planet, the good people of the U.S., enjoy the AC all the time while you can. I actually suggest that maybe you should wean yourself off of the AC teat as soon as you can, because when the day comes when the power goes down and out, and it does that in the middle of 120 degree weather, and that lasts for a few days, I'm going to tell you that it's going to be not fun. A whole lot of not fun. A big barrel of not fun monkeys. All right. And those days are happening, right? I just covered the fact that they're predicting next week in the Midwest. Some parts of the Midwest are going to get up to 120 degrees. Right? So the 120 degree on the regular is coming to a town near you. And I don't care where you are. Midwest, West Coast, East Coast. 120 degree weather is coming for you very, very soon. And so, I don't know. I don't know how you deal with it on the long term, but I don't, in the short term, get yourself ready to experience some 120 degree weather without your AC box working for you like you thought it would. And then after that, I don't know. Build an underground bunker, or, I don't know. Dig a big ass hole and put your house in it. I don't know. From Charlie Gardner, please don't wait for politicians to tackle the planetary emergency. They literally don't even want to know. Let's look at this. From The Guardian. Small minority of UK parliamentarians attend emergency climate briefing. It's supposed to be like in the 40 Cs in England in the next few days. 40 C in England is just ridiculous. Like, that's just not supposed to. That's an anomaly. That's a sigma. I don't know how many sigma event. That's way, way, way out of the norm. I'm telling you right now. And if somebody is trying to tell you that's normal, give them a big old straight arm. Like, no, sorry, bro. No, thank you. Just 70 MPs and peers saw Sir Patrick Vallance showcase data that converted Boris Johnson to climate cause before COP26. So Boris Johnson actually was he was like, oh yeah, the climate change is a thing. The briefing, organized by the Climate Change All-Party Parliamentarian Group, was an updated version of the slides, and the Chief Scientific Advisor, Sir Patrick Vallance, showed Boris Johnson before the UN Climate Summit COP26 in Glasgow in November. The slides, presented on Monday afternoon, show the latest climate science, including the rise in CO2 concentration and global mean temperatures in recent decades. Johnson credited them with giving him a road to Damascus moment on climate breakdown. He said at the time, I got them to run through it all, and if you look at the almost vertical kink upward in the temperature graph, the anthropogenic climate change, it's very hard to dispute because it is. Because it is. And not very hard, you can't. There is no disputing it. If somebody has data and evidence, if they have a whole, a pile of it, even a couple of pieces of data and evidence that tells me that is not true, please, I'm super welcome to look at that evidence. But nobody has it, so they don't. Nobody's going to give it to me. The briefing was made possible after the activist Angus Rose started a 37-day hunger strike outside Parliament, calling for information to be given to all MPs. He was backed by 79 of the UK's leading climate scientists in an open letter, who said a briefing similar to those given during the COVID-19 pandemic would be useful to... Right. So in the COVID-19 pandemic, everybody was given the whole, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, and everybody was like, let's get on board. And it was shouted out through all the media and everywhere, right? I'm not even talking about the validity of the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh, Jesus, I'm way off now. I'm just saying, a lot of people were given information and everybody was like, okay, this is what we got to do. But it's not happening with climate change, which is a thing. Anyways. All right. Well, my good old YouTubers, I just can't keep my comments I just can't seem to keep my comments in the borders today. I can't color in the lines today. So I'm going to sign off on YouTube, and I'm going to continue the show on Rockfin. If you guys want to watch the rest of the show on Rockfin, the wrecked of the show on Rockfin, you can, or listen to me on Callin. That's totally acceptable too. YouTubers, peace out. See you tomorrow at the regular